What's up guys, it's Brett Smith here, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about how to close your agency marketing deals with a proposal. So for you guys who know me, you know that I've closed a lot of deals with no proposal on the first call or with a couple of quick 5-minute follow-up calls. That's been my general strategy. But I've talked with a few agency owners who have trouble with that, and I can absolutely understand why, because that does require a pretty high level of sales skills that a lot of people don't start out with. I've been involved with sales and training sales teams since I was 18, so basically for the last 7 years or so, and it's probably one of the strongest skills that I have, so I can understand why it's just not for everyone. It's like if I was doing something where I didn't have a super strong skill set, I would want it to be as easy as possible. So what I did is I started looking at how what a successful proposal is supposed to do, how to deliver it, and I actually started practicing it. I designed a proposal and I started practicing it so that I could show you guys how it works and what to do. And so far I've been using a proposal for the past couple of weeks here, and I've found a lot of success with it. And so I wanted to show you guys real quick what the process is like, how your calls are different, and how to really make that work. So it starts out, the proposal process, obviously it starts with a basic change to the way that you do calls. So what I did is, instead of having 6 1-hour time slots available in my calendar per day, I made it, I have now 6 30-minute spots and 3, if I'm doing the math right here, it's like towards the end of the day, and I have a few 1-hour slots. So the 30-minute time slots in my calendar are for the first call, where it's pretty light, it's pretty easy, and I'll tell you how I do that in a minute. And then the 1-hour time slots are for the second call, where I actually go over the proposal with the client. Okay, so I'm not sending out proposals to people without showing it to them. I'm not just emailing it to them after we talk. In order for them to see it, they have to set up a time to actually go over it with me live, and I'll tell you how I do that. So essentially, the first step is we'll call it the discovery call. So the first step is that discovery call. You get on the phone with the prospect. This is the shorter 30-minute call, and they don't always even go that long. And so how I introduce this call is I say, "Hey John, this is Brett with Reliable Marketing. How are you doing? Blah, blah, blah." We talk for a minute or so. And then I say, "Awesome. So in this call, basically what we can do, I just have a few questions for you about your business, how it's set up, what your goals are. And from there, we can see if this is something that we're a good fit to help you with. And if we are a good fit, then what we'll do is we'll set up another call where we'll set aside a little bit more time, 45 minutes to an hour, and I'll actually show you a briefing live over Zoom where we can go through all the details about how we work, what our services entails, what the relationship's like, and you can see what the steps are to move forward and get involved with that, the investment and everything like that. But on this call, all we really need to do is have a chat here. I'll ask you a few questions about your business, and we'll go from there. Does that sound good?" And they go, "Yeah, sounds great." And then we go through, I ask them some questions about their business, some qualifying stuff, and then also get an idea of what they care about, so I know that going in. And it's basically, if you're familiar with the standard call process that I teach, the intro, fact finding, and then the presentation and the close. That call, this first call, is the intro and the fact finding. So that's the purpose of that first call. Then if they are a good fit after the 20 or 30 minutes that we're talking, then I set up the next call right there on the phone. So I'm not ending the call and sending them a link or anything like that. I'm going to actually verbally select a time, confirm it, and then make sure that they have the time set aside and that they're going to be available in front of a computer. And I make it really clear that that's necessary because I'm going to go over that briefing with them. And I call it a briefing because I think it sounds cooler than proposal. And it's also, it's informative. It's gonna be more than just a proposal. So that's the first call. And now I've got the second call set up. The second call is going to be over a Zoom meeting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that briefing with them, which is the same for every client. The only thing that I change is the name on the first slide, and I'll actually show you some of the proposal here in just a minute. So basically that second call is about the presentation and the close. So I still have my notes from our first call, because that information that you get in the fact finding is very important. So you know what they've tried in the past, what their problems are, what their goals are, what they really care about, and what they're afraid of. You already know that stuff before you go into the second call. Now going into the second call, I'm gonna share with you right now. See if I can flip this around. Nope, I guess I'll just do it manually. So let me make sure you can see this before I do that. Okay. So I'm going to kind of click through here with you. It's not going to be super high def or anything, but the second call is all about this presentation. So I started off, it's, hey, welcome, how you doing today? Good, good. And then the first thing that I do on this slide is I make sure that I understand what they want to do and that nothing has changed since the last time that we talked. So I wanna just recap. I'll open it up. So just to make sure we're on the same page here, your goal is XYZ and this is what you're looking to do. So I'll recap that at the very beginning of this call. What that does is, one, it makes sure we're on the same page, and then two, it also reignites their excitement from our last call. So on the initial call where we're talking about their business, a lot of times they'll get excited and they will I want that excitement to transfer back into this call. So I bring up the stuff that we talked about on our last call. It also strengthens the relationship because now this is the second interaction that we're having and we're talking about their stuff and I have notes and I remember, and so it makes them feel important and all of that. So that's the introduction. And then from there, I go into an overview. So here's what we'll cover on the call. I go through the things that we're going to cover and I make sure that I check with them, does that all sound good? And they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And then we go ahead and dive in. Then from there, we go through their funnel outline, we go through what's included, what our services are, what they're gonna get. We go through a couple of examples, and I'll use this time to kind of give them some personal stories from our clients. And then I go into start to building up the value, talking about our testing process that we do with the ads, how that helps them, then what the stages of the process are so that they can see there's a really clear plan moving forward. And then I go through each stage of the plan, talking back and forth with them. So I check in after virtually every slide to make sure that everything's making sense, that they're following along, and that they're still with me, because I don't want to just end up talking for 20 minutes straight and have no idea that I lost them like 10 minutes ago. So it's important that you keep it interactive. You don't just start off and then run through all the way to the end of this, because that's a long time for someone to just sit and listen without being re-engaged by you. So now we've gone through the general process, what it all looks like, what it looks like moving forward, talk about the relationship working together, what that's like. We talk about the reporting schedule and stuff like that. Then we talk about the investment, how the investment's broken into two parts, management and ad spend. And then we end up on the final slide, which is the investment. And so this is where we've got multiple options for their investment. They'll get basically a different kind of deal depending on the length of time that they agree to up front. And that's awesome because you can feel that they're really, when they have multiple options, they like to consider which one they want to do. And people naturally like to consider options. So if you only have one price point, then the options that they have are do it or don't do it. That's not what you want them thinking about. That's not the decision that you want them making. You want them making a decision between which of your price points they want to get involved at. That's a much more powerful position. So that is the proposal process. It's really, really effective strategy. So basically, you just want to put the pieces in place. Make sure that you've got booking slots for 30-minute and an hour. and then get yourself a general little script for how you're going to do the first call, and then get yourself an outline and a proposal document for how you're going to do the second call, and give it a shot, work that into your process, and see how it works for you. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.